안녕하세요, kimincoree, 박키미입니다. Hi, this is Kimi Park from kimincoree, and today we are going to talk about the Korean cosmetic that I always buy when I go to Korea. So I get asked sometimes by friends who are going to Korea for the first time what they should buy as cosmetic because they don't know anything about Korean skincare. And to be honest, I'm not an expert myself, but because I'm not an expert, and I get overwhelmed when I go to Olive Young, like it's too full of people, it's too full of product, and I don't know what to choose. I have been to Olive Young a few times with a Korean friend of mine who is a makeup artist, and he has done my makeup before, and so he knows my skin and could recommend me a couple of products. Now, I have a very dry skin, and therefore some of these products are actually going to be for dry skin in particular, but some other are more like general product for everybody. So without further ado, let's start with the first category. First and foremost, we have face mists. So they are basically toner or serums, but in a spray bottle. And there are two of them in particular that I buy every single time. The first one is D'Alba First Spray Serum with white truffle from Italy. Isn't that fancy? So when you shake it, it's mixed, but really it's a toner with some oil on top. So they have several of them. And the one my friend had recommended was that one, which was the Intense Solution Supreme Intensive Serum. But I didn't find this one exactly anymore when I went back, so that's why I got this one. So for both of them, you can use them as serum, meaning straight after washing your face. What I really like those for is when you already have a full face of makeup and you can spray on top, because my skin is very, very dry, and so throughout the day, it feels really like dry papyrus that is going to crumble if I touch it. So yeah, it's not great, especially in winter. This one has a very thin spray, which is very nice. Do you want to stop? No. Percy does not approve. It rehydrates your skin and freshen up a little bit your makeup. This is great, especially for flying. So the D'Alba has white truffle and vitamin E, oils, 9 herbs complex. But really, when I look quickly at the ingredient list, what I also noticed is urea, niacinamide, glycerin. So all of those are really good for hydrating the skin. Now, moving on to the Estura one. It is a cream mist with ceramides and for dry and weakened skin. I like the mist on this one a lot less. It's spray kind of like in a line instead of more diffused. And something that some people might not appreciate is that it gives you a little bit of a greasy look. Not greasy exactly, but like a bit more. It's like less fine than with this one. But I find this one really good, and I spray it multiple times per day in winter. And we are going to stay with this brand for our second product. And this is the Estura Auto Barrier Lotion. There is also a cream, and I found that there's not a huge difference between both, but the lotion is cheaper. So now I just buy the lotion. And it also comes in packs where you have the bottle and the refill. So this one is also for dry and sensitive skin. I mean, this whole range from this brand is for that. And this one was highly recommended by my friend. Like basically those two brands, like D'Alba and Estura, he said you can buy pretty much everything from them and you should be pretty satisfied with them. But they are slightly more expensive than what I normally get from the drugstore in Europe, so I don't want to buy anything if it doesn't work specifically for me. This one is fantastic. If I had to choose only one product from Korea, I would probably buy this. It does wonder for my dry skin. Even the lotion is pretty thick, like creamy, but once you really blend it in, it doesn't give you a greasy look at all, but it feels like nice and thick and moisturizing. So yeah, this is my favorite cream, and last time I bought about like 6 packs of those. By the way, both of these products are available at Olive Young. Something to know: if you go to Olive Young anywhere in Korea, any of them, no matter how small or how big it is, you can get tax-free if you bring your passport. You get direct deduction of your taxes. It's great. You don't need to go to the airport and get it back there. Let's move on. My third category of product is sunscreen. So there's two that I buy the most. You might have heard of them already. The first one is from this very well-known brand, Beauty of Joseon. They have several types of sunscreen. The original one is the one that I've been using for many years, but last time I went, I wanted to buy that one, which is newer, just to try it. And of course, this is very easy to find in Europe because Beauty of Joseon is a Korean brand, but it's very much marketed for the Western market. Most people in Korea don't really use that brand and don't really know that brand. The brand that they use a lot, however, is Ramlab. Now, this sunscreen is like one of the best seller. This is a Burst Juice Moisturizing Tone Up Sunscreen. So this one is a tone up, meaning that it's slightly white and it's gonna tone up, brighten than just a normal plain transparent sunscreen. But you also have a normal version. Like most product in Korea, it comes in a box where you can get 1+1, meaning you get one for free. And those two brands are my go-to sunscreen. And if you're into Korean skincare, you know that you should put sunscreen every day, even in winter. Even though I really like those two brands and I buy multiple packs every time I go to Korea, I also like to pick up some other sunscreen just to try them. This one is actually Japanese. It's pretty famous. And these two are random one that I just picked. What I really like about Korean sunscreen is the texture is very different from the Western sunscreen. It tends to be less thick and much nicer. You get always SPF 50. You should not wear anything than SPF 50. If you are bothering putting sunscreen, why would you not go for the highest? And you also get PA, which is a different type of Asian measure. And the more pluses you have, the higher protection you get. So usually most of them in Korea, this is 4 pluses, 4 pluses, 4 pluses, 4 pluses, all 4 pluses. So again, all of those available at Olive Young. For Beauty of Joseon in particular, you can get it at Olive Young. You can also go to the flagship store, which is not far from Gyeongbokgung Palace, if you are going to see the main palace of Seoul. I had done a vlog about going to the flagship store, so if you're interested, you can find it linked below. The thing to know is that at Olive Young, you will get tax-free, but in the store, you won't get tax-free. However, they give you loads of sample. So, and because I like this brand, I also got some other products from them. Now, these are not necessarily stuff that I buy again and again. And this video is about the things that I buy again and again. So, let's move on to our next category. The next category is still about sunscreen, actually. I like to buy my foundation in Korea. And I know I said this video is about skincare, but the reason I like to buy my foundations or cushion, if you like that, in Korea, it's because just like the sunscreen, they also have 50 PA++++ plus 4 pluses, sun protection, which is not often the case in the West. We mostly have like, oh, it's 15 protection or whatnot. But because you put such a small amount of it, I'm not sure it does a lot of the protection it's saying it does. So usually less is more, but in the case of sun protection, more is more. So these are 2 cushions from Clio and Laneige. This is the one I have on right now. Now, a problem you might encounter in Korea is that everything is quite pale. But in general, I do like to have one shade lighter than my own skin tone, more in the Asian side than the more tan Western style. But if you have a darker skin tone, that's going to be really hard for you to find a foundation. Now, these are 2 other foundations. This one from Dalva, it's the same brand as the spray. This one was recommended by my makeup artist friend. I haven't tried it yet. And this one is just a random one that I picked up at Daiso. Daiso in another place where I buy cosmetics. It's a super cheap, great, fantastic store where you can go and you can find loads of stuff. I love it. But they also have skincare and makeup. You can have a bit of everything. Like sometimes it's and sometimes it's actually really good. I just picked it up and this is very cheap. I think it was like 4,000 or 5,000 won, which is like 2-3 euros. Moving on to our next category. It's again something I get asked a lot, face masks. So some of my friends are like, oh, I'm going to Korea, which one should I get? And I'm like, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know. I don't buy the fancy one from like Dr. Jart or something like that. They're expensive. For me, face masks are not great for the environment, but they're just about having more of a luxurious experience if I'm having a bath or if I go on holiday, I like to take one with me or a couple. And not so much of a daily thing. Like sometimes the Korean they use like one per day. And I think it's too much and not great for the environment and a little bit unnecessary. But from time to time, it can be really nice. I just pick up some random ones that you can get from literally everywhere. And now they are pretty common in Europe too, so it's not that exceptional. If you want to get something that you can't get in the West, you can go for something like this, which is snail essence, which I've never found here. It doesn't feel like anything. It feels like a normal, very like plain cosmetic with like perfume. It's not gross. I had brought some of them for one of my friends and she was absolutely grossed out and she refused to use them. This is, for example, a type of thing you wouldn't be able to find in Europe, I think. But in general, just buy anything. I go by packaging, like, oh, this, I like the smell of orange, so I'll go for that. Just pick anything randomly, and it's nice to get like a little array of masks to give to your friends. I always bring back some of them to just give out. Our next category is something we also find now in the West. So I'm not sure this is so terribly interesting, But when I first started to bring them back, it didn't exist. And these are those patches for when you have pimples. Even though you can find those here, if you go to Korea, I would recommend to get them because it doesn't weigh anything. It's very cheap in Korea, much cheaper than here. And I personally get the one from Daiso, the cheapest one, because I used to exclusively buy the one from Nextcare. These are cheaper, and I find that there's not a huge difference. Now, what you can get, I had gotten that one at Olive Young, one with little spikes, and maybe it does something extra. I haven't used it yet, so I don't really know. My recommendation is a lot of those. And also give them out. And some people are like, why are you giving me pimple patches? Like, because you can make cute little gifts with like face mask and then pimple patches and then like a postcard from Korea or like stickers or a magnet or something like little cute little packages of things that doesn't weigh too much, because weight is a big problem when you come back from Korea. I highly recommend you to go with an empty suitcase, or at least half an empty suitcase, because of course you have to have some clothes to go there, because this is not Germany. You can't walk around naked in parks. But you will want to shop like for clothing and cosmetics and whatever you like. So weight is always a problem for me. Which brings us to a next and last category. Something that's new-ish in Korea, which hasn't arrived massively in the West yet, just like those used to be exclusive to Asian market. And these are the toner pads. So toner pads, it's basically just... It's leaking everywhere. So toner pads, as the name indicates, is basically just pads, very thin pads. It's leaking. With a little pinchy thing to catch them with toner or serum-y. It's like these ones are a little bit between a toner and a serum. Like it's a little bit thicker than just a toner, which is watery. And again, I think those are not great for the environment where you can just use a toner. I usually put my toner in spray bottle. Like this one is a great spray. In another spray bottle from a product that I bought and then just spray it on my face like that. But what the Korean likes to do now is using those toner pads as masks kind of thing. And they literally just put them on their face and leave it for a few minutes. So it's supposed to like soak up in the skin and work better. The Koreans talk a lot about cooling down the skin, which I'm like, yeah, okay. That's not a thing. I mean, not for me at least. I mean, my skin is not burning so that my makeup is like flamed and doesn't want to like stick to my skin. No, I don't know. I don't really. It's one of those new marketing thing in my opinion. But I like to use it sometimes because it feels like that. The problem is, I mean, this one is particularly massive, but it's really big, it's really heavy, so it's not great for the suitcase. However, if you want to have that feeling but in a different way, you can just buy one and keep the pot after, or you don't need to have one specifically. And if you want to be smart and cheap about that, what you can get is just these cotton pads. These are from Daiso. It's 2,000 won, so it's like €1. You have loads of them and they're very thin. It's not like our cotton pads here in Europe. They're like paper thin. They're really, really thin. And they actually sell kits to make your own toner pads. You have basically these thin pads, but in a round shape, already in a box. And then you can just add your favorite toner to it. Now, it doesn't need to be round. What you can do is take any jar, put those in even though they're rectangular, and use one of your local liked, tested and approved toner, because brown toner is like this so heavy. Again, suitcase weight is a worry of mine. So you can make your DIY toner pads. Yeah, that's it. That's all the skincare product I like to bring back with me in my very heavy, barely at the limit suitcase when I come back from Korea. I hope these recommendations were useful for you. If so, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.